So I decided to make this little tutorial for iMovie, as I didn't even know iMovie came with a Mac when I bought it, so I was pleasantly surprised when I saw it. So you go in here, it comes by, I'm running iLife 11 on Snow Leopard. So as you can see here, I have iMovie open, and I have a number of projects on the side. Down here, I can see I have a bunch of raw video from my event library, so when you import raw video, it all goes down here, and the projects are on the side. So I'm going to make a new project with my dog video I've taken below playing in the snow. I'm going to call it Snow Sheldon. It's in widescreen 16 by 9. It says 24 frames per second, but you can't really see it down there, but the raw footage is indicating they have 30 frames per second, but I'm going to change that upstairs and click Create. So now I've created a new project called Snow Sheldon. This is my project bit up here on the left where I can do all of my editing. On the right, I have my video window, which you can use to view all of the raw footage that you have. So as you see as I scroll along, you can press play, which is the space bar, so you can review all of your raw footage. So when you're selecting raw footage, you want to take a look at what you want. So earlier on, we see Sheldon bouncing through the snow, which I think is cute for the video. Towards the end, he just kind of sits there, so I'm not going to select that. So I select you can see the yellow box there, and I move it up, and it's right in my project window. Now, we go over here to this other bit of raw footage that I've taken. So you'll notice if for some reason or other you don't like a bit of raw footage, when you're looking through, you can select it there, and you'll notice over here this orange bar, which indicates that I've used the video. So here I'm going to say that I don't want to use this second clip. So you'll notice this red bar appears. So as you're reviewing your raw footage, you can say, I don't want that, I'm going to put a marker on it. It doesn't do anything to the video, it just puts a marker on it. So now we're going to review our next clip. And a little bit of it's jumping around, so you can't really get a good picture of the dog. But right around here towards the bench, I get some good footage of him jumping through the snow. So I think I'm going to want to use that. So just like before, I'm going to select that part. And you see the yellow box appear as I select it, right around to where just before he jumps off screen there. So I'm going to take that and drag it up to my project window. And it puts that footage there too. So now I have this 2 bits of footage up there, and if we play it through, we see it automatically jumps from that first clip to the second one. So I don't necessarily want my final movie to do that, so I go down here on the bottom right, and you can see I click Transition, and I've dragged up a Fade to Black transition. So instead of jumping, it just does that quick fade to black. I've decided it's at 0.4 seconds, which is too quick. So I can change this to about 1 second long. So now the transition will run for a full second. So we get a much slower transition there, and I think that looks much nicer. So as an editor, I'm happier with that. So now I decided I want to put a title on my movie. So you can. One of the nice things about Apple is that the iPhoto and the iMovie and the iTunes all talk to each other. So I can easily go into my iPhoto library, and I've pre-set up this photo in there. So I've dragged this photo and moved it up. So now this photo is contained within my movie too, right along with my footage. I've decided it automatically puts in a Ken Burns effect. I don't like that, so I'm going to go around and change that to a fit. And as you can see, you can set it to allow black. What that means is if your photo is not at that 16 by 9 ratio, so that you can allow what's shown to be extended beyond that. So now I have this black part on the side. So you can go in and you can crop the photo and zoom in as you want. Of course, as you zoom in, maybe you lose resolution. So I've disallowed black here, what I've clicked. So now it won't let me extend what I show into that black region. So now my title slide will just appear what's in that green spot. So I can put a title on that. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put a transition in between my title photo and my footage. So now it won't jump automatically. I've decided that 1 second is maybe too long for this one, so I'm going to cut it down to half a second because I want to get into the action right away as soon as the photo fades. And we can watch it, and we instantly run from the photo to Sheldon bounding through the snow. So I'm happy with that. Now what I need to do is to put some words on my title. So I go over to the title bit, and I've decided to put the text at the bottom. You can see Apple gives you a couple of different options there. So here I'm going to call this Sheldon in the Snow, is the title of my movie. It gives you an option for subtext, but I'm going to delete that. I don't like the white letters on the white snow, so I'm going to go into my fonts. And you can see you have all kinds of options here to change your fonts. I'm going to increase the darkness of the font so that it shows up better on the snow in the photo. So now I've got my title slide that says Sheldon in the Snow, And we can watch it play through. It fades in nicely, and then I'm happy with the way it fades out. Now, towards the end of the movie, I'm going to want to put in some, oh, sorry. At the beginning here, what I like to do is add a fade to black transition, so that instead of just starting on the title slide, it gives a little transition so that it fades in. So you can see there's all kinds of options here. You select the clip, and you can pull up this inspector window, it's called, that has bits about all the volume. I can mute the volume if I want. You can do other options on the clip itself. You can smooth the motion, so that's kind of a neat option where it crops the video a little bit and then stabilizes the camera movement. You can speed up the video, so as you can see as it plays here, when Sheldon goes jumping through the snow, it's at super speed. Just a little jump there. I don't want that super speed in the video though, so I'm going to slow the action down a little bit to normal speed. So you can go into iTunes here if I decided I wanted to add some audio. So any music I have on iTunes or any preloaded sound effects or anything I've recorded in GarageBand, you can get access to add to your movie project if you wanted to. So that's a nice option. So now I've decided at the end that I want to put some credits in. So I added a transition to make it fade to black. There's a credits option in the title. I've decided I wanted a black screen, so you have a couple of different options there too. iMovie gives you some examples as to how you want the credits to play. I'm going to type in starring Sheldon. I don't want it to look exactly like that. So I put in colon and then put it on a new line. Then you click done when you're happy with it. And again, you can change the font around as you like. We go back in our project and we can view it again. Transition goes by, and I've decided I don't like the way the credits are scrolling up. It's a little too fast. So instead of 3.5 seconds, I'm going to switch it to 6 seconds. And that should make it look a little bit less jumpy. And so you can see it scrolls a little more slowly there, and it's a little easier to read. So once we're done with all that, and we think it looks good, we can click this button on the far left. And it'll give you a preview of how you want the whole thing to look. So we can watch the whole thing to see if there's any parts we don't like. The speed looks okay. Transition looks okay. And we can see Sheldon jumping off camera, it fades away, and then our credits go by. And if we're happy with that, we just click on that little X and it brings us back. And there's other options in here too. I've only just really touched on the surface here. You can put in chapter markers. If you're making a DVD, it'll automatically put the markers in for you. This little button down here lets you increase the amount of time. So if you had to do any kind of precision adjusting, then increasing that span lets you look at it. This precision editor here, if I wanted to make a very fine-tuned adjustment on the transition to 0.9 seconds instead of 1, it lets you do that. So click done, and then you change that to 0.9 seconds. And you have all the options, so you can switch the time meter bar or whatever it's called back over to that. And we're done. That's a very quick tutorial. I hope it's useful for brand new editors.